So just to start, what's it like to be part of a franchise as iconic as Hellraiser?
Yeah, an amazing experience. I feel like it's actually I kind of just sometimes mind blowing because you're like it's such a huge franchise that you don't realize until you see all of, like sort of the reaction online and the articles, and it's so cool. And the artwork, just like people have already been making pinhead artwork and haven't even really fully seen what she's going to look like, the hell priest, excuse me, I guess that. But it's been so cool to see the reaction, and that like fans are even just hyped about the trailer, and I can't wait for them to see like the movie as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. And you and Brandon Flynn have really incredible chemistry in the film. Did that come naturally or did that require work?
We like literally it was a week and then we went into shooting, so it was all very quick. But we had a great time. We like we had like a little intimacy coordinator, so that was fun because they help you very much like kind of get into the zone, little exercise. But all that to say, it's I feel like in the end of the job too, it's like our job to kind of like give to each other. And so I think it's like little time or a lot of time, hopefully you just it kind of naturally comes there. And so yeah, I think we both were very giving in the scenes, and I'm happy that it translated.
Yeah, for sure. And you got the ultimate Hellraiser honor of having a torture scene. What was that like? How'd you get in that headspace for that?
Dude, man, it was gnarly. I mean, I have to say, it was like it was truly like a painful. I mean, just being up there and keeping those arms up for like more than like even just like 5 minutes. The first five, you're like, whew, okay. And then you start getting to like 10, 20, then turns into hour, whatever. And your arms are just like, I mean, a lot of the screams were just real because I was just like letting all of the pain out in those takes. And it was just also like, I don't know. I feel like, it was a real sort of like master class in and just staying in it. Like I think if we took the rigging off, then we went to lunch and then we did like got snacks or whatever. Sometimes it was just nice to kind of stay in it, because not only for like your mental sort of like just capacity, just staying kind of in the zone, but also just like physically to take off everything every single time would have just taken a lot longer. And I think like we all were kind of like, let's just stay in it. And I'm glad that it also translated for you in that, because it just yeah, it was a gnarly it was a gnarly time.
Definitely. And Colin makes it to the end. He's one of the few. What was it like when he first learned that you'd be one of the survivors?
Dude, to be honest, I cried when I read the script, because I was like, I love horror so much, and and like I don't know, just like getting to like live in it. Like it never happens. I've died in like horror movies before, and you're like, oh, okay, but like to feel like, it felt like he was like, special enough, or like that he was developed enough to feel like you really like felt like he earned his keep, was like so special. Because I think a lot of times too, like especially queer characters, like we're either a joke or like we're killed off, or like we're the best friend and then like you never see them again. So it's like, I deliver some quippy dialogue and then like leave. So it was just really cool to have agency and to feel fleshed out, and then like to feel like I was going to get to do this. Like this was me, like getting to do this. It was just like such a gift, and I really like have so much like gratefulness to David for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And in your heart personally, where do you hope Colin goes as a person after that movie?
Man, I thought about this actually. I really hope that if somebody else stumbles upon a box, or if he possibly he comes into the possession of the box again or something, that they kind of know what to do. They kind of Laurie Strode it. They're like, you know what? We've been knowing, and we can help whoever it falls into, or if it's us, we figure out basically how to beat it again. So I think using all that past sort of knowledge and maybe using it to inform the next sort of, hopefully the next sort of uh, like iteration of whatever happens, I think would be really cool to feel like, oh, we've got some knowledge here. We're in on this.
Yeah,
So, and
it'd be
hopefully
great to
not in
see
the
Colin
like,
as a mentor.
Right. Acts as a mentor, and hopefully not in the like Ali Larder way, like Final Destination in the beginning, where she's like, the second one where she's like, I'm not gonna fucking help you, everyone's died. But then like, eventually ends up like helping. Like maybe there's something in that. Like they're
Yeah,
reticent at first, like we don't want to fuck with this again. But then we're like, okay, shit, we see how much this is affecting someone. Let's help them out or something. It'd be cool to give some of that sweet wisdom.
absolutely. And my last question is, which Cenobite is your personal favorite?
The Weeper, the Weeper, the Weeper, the Weeper, the Weeper, the Weeper. Also, I think first Black Cenobite, which I think is the dopest thing ever, just to see the black prosthetics and like the jaw missing and just the lack of eyes too. There was almost these sort of like bug eyes with pins in them. You see her in the trailer very briefly, and gosh, she just killed it, and I was just like so in awe of her. Yeah.
Yeah, so sick. Well, that's all the time I've got. Thanks for doing this. And the movie was great. Hope to see you in another one.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man.